Hey guys, Andrew Brown here for IA Baseball. Just wrapped up with the doubleheader between Waukee Northwest and North Polk. And I wanted to go ahead and give you my kind of unfiltered thoughts as they're fresh in my mind, just how things went, how the games went, my thoughts. And I want your input. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Should I kick rocks instead? I mean, I'll take anything into consideration, but I really want your thoughts on this, and I would love your discussion. What are your thoughts on not just the games that we're talking about, but even the bigger picture of things? I want your thoughts, your input, and more. So please give me your thoughts, unfiltered, on all of that. Make sure to give me your comments, your thoughts, and all that jazz. Right now, what I'm going to do is again, I'm going to go through both games, give some players of the games, and you know what? Just give my overall thoughts. I will say first and foremost, shout out to the Wolves for coming in to North Polk against a very strong Comet squad and walking away with 2 wins. That is a near impossible task that they made happen. And I think the theme for Waukee Northwest here is just make it happen. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be flashy. Just get it done. And they sure did that, man. Game one, they had it working very well. Again, I got my unofficial notes here, but they end up poking across 7 hits. They had just one error, but they managed to make it. They had a strong set of innings here. Strong fifth inning, strong third inning. They forced the issue. They had runners on base each and every inning in game one. And I think that in the end, they truly forced all 6 of North Polk's errors. It wasn't that North Polk just had an oops moment 6 times. No, I think Waukee Northwest made it so much of a challenge that there were errors made because of that. So I think that Waukee Northwest really pushed the button there. They did a great job. A big highlight example of that, Caden Kitzman, one of my 3 players of the game in game one. He found his way on base every time he came up, whether it be error or hit by pitch. I mean, he reached error several times and plays that I thought he hustled the heck out of him. And, it was almost a travesty just to put an error on there. I thought that he deserved a lot, and he deserved several hits there. But you know what? It didn't matter how he got on. He made it. He was productive. Heck, even getting hit by pitch, he drove in a run. So no matter what he did, he was very productive, and it wasn't always flashy in game one, but he was very productive. And speaking about productive, Berdovich on the mound. I mean, kudos to everything that he was doing. 7 strikeouts, only allowed 3 hits against a North Polk squad. I mean, you just don't get that very often. It's kind of a rarity, and he made it happen. He went deep into the game, gave the team a great, solid chance to win. I mean, you could tell while he was the strikeout leader for the squad last year and one of the leaders on the mound. And he turns in and does the same thing right out of the gates here in 2025. Absolutely stellar outing for him. Really enjoyed that. And then Grant McComas, I want to go ahead and say shout out to what he was able to do. 2 doubles, a single, according to my book. And in my book, 3 out of 4. I'll take that any day, anytime, anywhere. I mean, 3 for 4 is a heck of a day, and I will take that no matter what. So, again, shout out to those 3 guys for absolute stellar game one, helping them to lead them to that opening doubleheader opening victory. I will say, as for North Polk here, just because North Polk lost both games doesn't, in my mind, diminish where they're at right now. Waukee Northwest is a top 10 team. They are a high caliber offense, high caliber defense, and in the end, when you go toe to toe with them, that's a win in of itself. So again, kudos to North Polk for battling tough against arguably one of the tougher teams in the entire state. So I will also say that we have all heard of the movie Angels in the Outfield, right? Well, I've got to tell you that there's a spinoff coming, and it's called Cannons in the North Polk Outfield, because there were a plethora of just darts into the infield, nabbing a runner at third. Third base was never safe today in game two, especially. But man, were there some darts in there. Home plate was never safe. Man, it was absolutely game two for both teams felt like a defensive web gem galore. Just a highlight reel of web gems, actually. And again, a large part of that went to the outfield play in North Polk. Again, the Comets have something special in the outfield, and that's from Owen to Burke to Reinhardt, Fouch, everybody who absolutely just dominated. Some great play out there. There are some Superman dives. There are some rockets that were rocketed into the infield. Nabbed the runner at second, third home. It didn't matter, really. It was absolutely fun to watch and one of the more exciting defensive battles, again, in large part due to what the North Polk outfield was able to do. So absolute kudos to what they were doing. Also, one of the things I have to mention here, and again, I know that they came out on the losing end, but Clark Smithy, I have to give a shout out to. The junior pitcher came in the second inning after Waukee Northwest put a 5 spot up in the top half of the first. He came in, and I believe the second, and absolutely just dominated from there. You know, the Wolves didn't score aside from that first inning in game two. A large part of that was due to the fact that Smithy made it hard to find the barrel for Waukee Northwest hitters. So, again, it was absolutely, I thought, an absolute gem of an outing coming out of the bullpen. And you know what? Coach Oski has to be very, very happy knowing that he has a guy like Smithy who can come in there and silence, for the most part, a lineup as powerful as Waukee Northwest. But while I'm on that track here talking about North Polk, I got to give a shout out again as I take a look, make sure my notes. Colton Boo, I want to give a big shout out to the lefty pitcher, hurler extraordinaire. He ended up having 3 absolute beautiful pickoff moves that ended up in outs. They were absolute stellar, and he may not have gone the distance. He may not have had the overall outing that he would like, but I thought he had an absolute solid outing in game one. Again, he was a mastermind in terms of picking guys off there. He made the base pass very uncomfortable in game one for Waukee Northwest base runners. So, again, big shout out and kudos. I know that North Polk loses guys like Hunter Cook, Reese Rogge, but I mean, you got some guys who, once they get some more varsity experience under their belts, are just going to be dynamic as well. I think that they're going to go a long way with this pitching staff, despite the losses that they've had. So North Polk well on their way. And again, I know that I came back to game one here, but I had to give a shout out there again to Colton Boo. And again, phenomenal pitching. Great job. And in the end, pickoff move, one of the best in the Raccoon River Conference, if not Class 3A. I urge you to check him out. But with that, again, wrap it up with Waukee Northwest in game two. Again, they found a way to win. They found a way to continually put pressure on there. The pitching staff was solid. Hitting was solid as well. I mean, in the end, they nearly hit 10 hits in both games. So, despite all the great stuff that North Polk did, you still got to give a shout out to the nearly 10 hits each game that Waukee Northwest was able to put up. So they made it happen. And in the end, I think that's going to be the theme, is just make it happen. That's what they did last year. Not always the flashiest, but they got the wins. So that's where I think that this year, Coach Heinen's squad is going to be, again, another force to be reckoned with. So, again, that wraps it up here. Just kind of a quick thing there. Again, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts from this game? I had a lot of fun with it. Game two, I had 4 to 5 players of the game. I mentioned several of them there. Again, players of the game brought to you by Casmium Sports. Make sure to check them out today for what they can do for the program, for you individually, and beyond. So make sure to check them out today. All right, that's about it. Thanks for taking the time to listen in. Again, big shout out to all the guys I mentioned. These two teams well on their way to deep season runs. But until we see each other next time, thanks again for tuning in and stay safe on the base pass. Thanks, guys.